Oh, yeah. Jim, what's the Boy Scout's name? Matthew. Matthew? Yeah, could you lead us in the pledge tonight, Matthew? Just come up to the podium here. We're ready to go. Ready to go? Okay.
That's nice.
Get real close to the microphone.
And Susan, he's going to do the pledge. You do the part about the military, about the moment of silence for men and women. Okay. All right, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. So, all right.
Pull this close to you.
Yeah, pull that a little bit closer to you. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. And all right, it's up to you. If you want to pull your mask down just to say the pledge, you can.
All right.
It's up to you. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, Vinny, we're on? Yes. Okay. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Before we get started, we're going to have the pledge allegiance to the flag, and we have a guest with us tonight, Vinny. I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Matthew?
Matthew. Matthew's going to lead us in the pledge, so would everybody please rise? Whenever you're ready, Matthew.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence to remember all of the men and women who are fighting for our freedom. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Matthew. Okay, once again, everyone, thank you for attending this meeting tonight of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Today's date is Wednesday, May 12th, 2021. Tonight's meeting is a Town Board work session, and prior to coming out here this evening for the public session, the Town Board met in executive session at 6:15 p.m. with Mary Ann Maxwell, our Town Comptroller, and Ann Pasquarella from the Supervisor's Office to discuss a contractual matter for an IT contract extension. And the second item in executive session was with Councilman Mike Borelli and Councilman Bob Schnall to provide an update to the Town Board on PBA negotiations, contract negotiations. So, for the record, all Town Board members are present with us this evening, as is our Town Council, Greg Fulchetti, all the way over to the left, and Jim Gilchrist, our Recreation and Parks Director, is here, along with Rich Franzetti, our Town Engineer. They have items on their work session agenda tonight, so they will be coming up when their item is called from the agenda. So the first item tonight is a review of the Town Board minutes of April 21st, 2021. Does the Town Board have any comments with regard to the minutes of April 21?
No.
Okay, there being none, we're going to go on to agenda item number 1. This is consider a request to make reappointment to the Town of Carmel Environmental Conservation Board. So I have a memo here, as the board does in their backup packets. Dear all, I wish to remain on the Town of Carmel's Environmental Conservation Board. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And this is from Edward Barnett. Edward Barnett has served on the ECB board for many years now. And I did request the attendance records for the members of the Environmental Conservation Board, and Ed Barnett has 100%.
Yeah, I was going to say he probably has the best.
Yeah, he has 100% attendance record. So it'd be my recommendation to reappoint Ed to the ECB board. Does any other board members have any comments on this or that they'd like to make?
Good.
We'll go with it? Yep. Okay. All right, agenda item number 2, Mary Ann Maxwell, Town Comptroller, Ann Pasquarella, Supervisor's Office, again to consider request to approve purchase and installation of IT upgrades for the year 2021 in Carmel Town Hall and other town facilities. Mary Ann, welcome.
Thank you. Okay, so our IT consultant, as you know, tracks all of our inventory for our computers and the servers, in the server room. So each year we take a look at the inventory and see the aging of the computers and the infrastructure, and we put into place, what needs to be upgraded. So in 2021. We're looking at 6 new computer desktop replacements, 1 in the accounting office, 1 in the assessor's office, 2 in the building department, 1 in engineering, and 1 in recreation. So those are all off of New York State contract. Quotes are on the second page. So those are competitively priced through New York State pricing. And then the second part of this spreadsheet is the billing from Sullivan Data for the installation and to buy backup, UPS and Microsoft licenses and whatnot. So the total cost, and then also the replacing of the switching infrastructure, which is also off of government pricing. That's basically to give us the capacity to run the systems that we have. We have to continue, to upgrade these servers and infrastructure. So the total cost for the HP Hewlett-Packard is $250.15, and the total billable by Sullivan Data Logically is $17,524.82.
Okay.
Okay, and like I said, this is budgeted. We have a budget for IT. We started this budget years ago, and we maintain it by, keeping years ago where you had to borrow for computers because we were so behind the 8 ball. So now we keep, continuing to keep up with our
Marion, how much did we
computers.
budget in 2021 for IT?
2021, we budgeted 70,000.
70?
70.
Okay.
So we still have a balance, because we carried over 20 from last year
Mhm.
that we didn't use, so we still have a balance of 60,000 in this year. So if anything else comes up, we have that 60,000, and we'll carry that to the following year if we don't use it. So, it's good to have that cushion for IT upgrades.
Okay,
Thanks, man.
Okay?
all right. Very good, Marion.
Okay.
Any questions, comments?
Is it
concerns
a
for
big
Marion on this
difference?
item?
Marion, I don't know if you have the information, but is it a big difference this year with the upgrade of the 17,000 for the infrastructure than last year? Do you remember what last year's was?
I don't remember last year. I know last year we did a lot of desktop upgrades.
Okay, so
And not so much on the infrastructure. That's the infrastructure, the servers, basically, are kind of every other year. So I think
Okay.
last year we did about 19 desktops.
okay,
So this year it's only 6, but we're doing the infrastructure, the server replacements and that stuff.
okay,
So we
good.
try to balance it out. If there's not that many desktop upgrades, then we'll look at the, infrastructure. So this year is actually a very light upgrade. I
Yeah,
think some
it
years
looks it.
we've done like 2 servers and 10 upgrades, so. But we look at it every year,
Okay,
and see what needs to be replaced.
great, thank you.
And we also recycle a lot of the old computers. Like if say, my computer is, obviously used a lot, but we'll move that to like the reception desk. If somebody's not using that. So it's not like we just throw it out, So we recycle the desktops as well.
Thank you.
Marion, was there any COVID-related IT purchases that we might be able to get reimbursed for through the American Rescue and Recovery Act funding?
No,
Did we
they're
purchase
not
any?
reimbursing for that.
Okay,
Basically, the only thing they did reimburse for, and we're still waiting on second reimbursement, is just really the face masks and the gloves and the
okay.
hand sanitizer.
But nothing
that kind of
IT,
stuff.
nothing
No.
IT related?
No,
Okay,
no,
all right,
it wasn't approved,
okay,
so,
all right, very good.
No.
All righty, all right, thanks, Marion.
okay, so.
Okay, so next item, number 3.
The dollar amount, okay. Okay,
Okay. Number 3 is also, Mary Ann, consider request to authorize budget revisions March and April of 2021.
okay, so in the general funds, we're providing for payout of accrued vacation time, $4,515. Also in the general funds, we're transferring for staff overtime in the engineering office and the highway admin office. Number 4 in the general fund, we're transferring $2,100 for the telephone system service contract. Number 6 in the general fund, we're transferring to the airport park from the park capital improvement line, $50,000. In the highway fund, we're providing for highway machinery capital expense of $460,000. That is coming from the fund balance that was established in the highway fund for capital projects. In Carmel Water District number 4, we're transferring for storage tank and air compressor, $3,000. Carmel Water District number 6, we're providing for equipment and emergency repairs from an insurance claim of $6,359. Carmel Water District number 14, we're transferring $5,000 for a pump replacement. On page 2, Carmel Sewer District number 1, we're transferring $3,000 for contractual expenses. Carmel Sewer District number 4, we're providing for microfiltration plant expenses, and that is coming from a reimbursement from New York City DEP, and that's a total of $50,000. So there's been a lot of microfiltration contractual expenses in that district, but we do submit for reimbursement from the city. In the airport capital funds, we're providing for contractual building improvements from the transfer from the general funds of $50,000 that I mentioned before, and we're also transferring $19,000 from the Camarda Park capital funds. So the total transfer into the airport fund is $69,264. We're also in the Camarda Park capital funds closing out that fund. So if you see number 16 on that page, we're closing out the capital funds in Camarda Park. And then the last one on page 2, we're transferring $20,000 for water meter installation cost. And that's it for March and April.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
any questions?
No, I don't have any questions on this. No, I just, Rich, hey, Rich, could you just tell us how things are going with the new water meter installs? Have they, when you come up and give your report, just touch on that just for a minute. Just let us know what the status of that is. Thank you.
Are
Okay.
you next? He's next.
Yeah, he's next. Thanks, Mary Ann.
Thanks, Mary Ann.
Okay, Franzetti, Town Engineer, consider request to authorize purchase of UV disinfection module and drivers for Carmel Sewer District Number 2 Microfiltration Plant. Rich?
Thank you. Infomark, the operators for Carmel Sewer District 2, advise the engineering department that 10 of the 72 modules and drivers of the ultraviolet disinfection bulbs at the microfiltration plant need to be replaced. These projects were completed as a regulatory upgrade and were financed through New York State EFC by New York City. The facilities use a combination of microfiltration elements and ultraviolet disinfection bulbs. Infomark advised the department that the UV system installed is a Trojan system and the replacement parts are only provided by Trojan. This is considered a sole source. Infomark received the attached quote from Trojan for bulbs and ancillary equipment, or the modules, $11,753, and then the total after reimbursement from the city is $5,876.50. They reimburse half. The equipment that's being replaced is about 12 years old, and the expected life is about 10 to 12 years old. There are sufficient funds in the budget for this work. That's all I have, sorry.
All right. Any questions, comments, concerns on this agenda item, the engineer?
Nope.
The UV bulbs? Okay. All right, Rich, go on to number 5. Consider request to acknowledge emergency repairs services for sand filter backwash pumps, Carmel Sewer District 4.
So this goes back to what Mary Ann was just mentioning about getting funding back from New York City. This is being presented to the board, emergency invoices in excess of $10,000. Carmel Sewer District 4, the sand filter backwash pumps. On April 30th, Infomark, the operators of Carmel Sewer District 4, alerted the engineering department that both sand filter submersible backwash pumps in the microfiltration building were not operational. There are 3 costs to have the pump replaced. The work was deemed an emergency as these pumps provide backwash for the sand filters and are part of the wastewater treatment process, and if not functioning, could cause a potential compliance issue, which would cause the town to be out of the Speedies permit. As such, the engineering department authorized a quote for TAMS to purchase and install the pump in the amount of $11,853. As Mary Ann mentioned, as the memo states or writes, there are insufficient funds in the operating budget, but we are expecting revenue from the DEP once the microfiltration reconciliation is complete, which will help encumber the cost for this repair. That's all I have.
Okay. All right. Any questions, comments in regards to this agenda item? Mike, Frank? No? Okay.
Has to be done.
That'll be done. Yeah. All right. Rich, number 6, consider request to accept the proposal for architectural design consulting services to the Town of Carmel Planning Board.
So as the board may be aware, in 2015, we issued a request for proposal entitled Architectural Design Consultant for this consultant to assist the planning board in carrying out the duties formerly undertaken by the Architectural Review Board. In January of 2016, Warshauer Malusi Warshauer Architects, or WMW, was recommended to perform this service. A 3-year proposal was provided for years 2019, 20, and 21 for the continuation of the service and was approved by an October 17th, 2018 resolution. This department requested WMW to provide a multi-year proposal for continuation of the service. They have provided the attached 5-year proposal for services in years 2022 through 2026. They've been performing this professional service adequately for the town since 2016. There's an email from Chairman of the Planning Board recommending continued use of WMW, and we recommend the town board considering retaining WMW for this multi-year proposal. Please note the Controller's Office will continue to provide a line item in future budgets for this service.
Rich, how much we paid these guys last year?
Nothing, actually. So I'll give you,
That's my question. The public's going to want to ask.
No, I got it, and I had that. So,
Speak a little bit about the escrow.
so what's going on here? When we first hired these guys, the total bill since 2016 has been $14,223. $11,000 of that occurred in 2016. In 2017, we had $806. In 2018, we had $870. In 2019, we had $1,465. There were no costs in 2020 and so far in 2021 to date. Supervisor Schmidt mentioned how we did it in the first year has been tweaked. The way this operates now is we will pay the first hourly or the first meeting for the architect to meet with. An applicant comes into the planning board, it's recommended to go to the architect. Architect bills the town for the first meeting. After that, the applicant is required to put an escrow up, and after the escrow is put up, that is billed directly to the client through the escrow. So it's really a flow-through money for the
I
town.
just want the public to hear that.
No problem. So this is a professional service. The numbers that we've been seeing are below any real threshold numbers for our procurement policy. So it's up to the town board. So what you'll be seeing now is a whole bunch of these things coming through in the next handful of months. So we have budget numbers for next year. We're starting to get this stuff before, our August deadline or September deadline for budgeting purposes. So I think I'm doing the sludge tonight. That's for this year, but there'll be one coming up for cleaning services. There'll be one coming up for a whole bunch of other things that you've authorized the engineering department to go out to build garbage, for instance. We want a plan to make sure we know a number for next year's budget. So that's kind of where this one falls into that place. So we have it approved, we get the contract signed for next year, and we can move forward.
Okay. All right. Any questions on this item?
Any complaints for their performance or?
No. The planning board has reviewed it, they're okay with them. So no complaints.
Good, thank you.
I don't know if the applicants are complaining, but they haven't relayed that to us. So.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Rich. Let's go on to number 7. This is consider request to award bid for sludge hauling for various town sewer districts.
So there was a resolution, the engineering department awarded by the town board, letting the engineering department advertise for bids, and we did that on March 25th. Bids were received and opened by the town clerk on April 26th of this year. Bid opening results are attached, indicating 2 bids were received. All bids were tabulated and verified, and no irregularities were found. Contract term is for 2021 and 2022, with unilateral options on the part of the town board to extend in 2023 and 2024 at the prices bid. There is a spreadsheet showing the unit prices and extensions which apply to the 4 years. The lowest bidder is Wind River Environmental, DBA Earth Care. Earth Care has been performing this work under contract with the town of Carmel since July of 2014. And based on past performance, we recommend that the contract be awarded to Wind River Environmental. Again, it would be for 2 years, commencing July 24th, 2021 to July 24th, 2023. I don't know why it fell on an odd date like that. And we will have 2 one-year unilateral options to extend. There are sufficient budget allocations for these expenditures. That's all I have, sorry.
Okay. Rich, just which districts is this for?
It's all the sewer districts.
All the sewer districts?
Well, except for Sewer District 1, because that's,
Is
New York
it
City DEP, but Sewer 2,
2, 4,
Sewer
5,
3.
6, and 7.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman.
All right. Okay. Good. Any questions, Bob, on this? Susie? Mike? Frank?
No, good.
Okay. All right. Rich, go on to number 8 then, please. Consider request to accept proposal for hydro raking services, Lake Secor Park District and Sycamore Park.
So the engineering department circulated requests for proposals for the reference projects to two contractors on March 29, 2021. It was also posted on the webpage and on New York State BidNet. Formal RFPs were received by the engineering department on April 16th. One company, Solitude Lake Management, submitted a proposal. The proposal was to provide multi-year proposals to perform hydro raking for Lake Secor Park and for Sycamore Park beach areas. The contract would be effective for the term of 4 years, commencing May 1st, 2021. Well, we're a little past that, but whenever we would be when we move it forward, and ending at the completion of work in 2024, with unilateral options at the sole discretion of the town of Carmel to extend the contract for 2 one-year periods in 25 and 26. Cost for Lake Secor in 2021 of $5,600, which are the same as the cost for this year, so we already have that budgeted. So same as cost for 2020. I'm sorry. In 2022 and 2023, $5,700. 2024 and 2025, $5,800, and 2026, $5,900. The costs for Sycamore Park are the same: $5,600 for 2021, $5,700 for 2022 and 23, $5,800 for 24 and 25, and $5,900 for 26. $34,500 for Lake Secor and $34,500 for Sycamore Park over the course of the contract. Solitude Lake Management has been performing this professional service adequately for the Lake Secor Park District since 2006, and we recommend this multi-year proposal be accepted. It's a new one for Sycamore. It was requested by Jim Gilchrist versus him going out there with his crew to cut them. It was easier to have hydro raking done. So,
Okay. All right, so hydro raking, just so for the benefit of the public, is weed harvesting. It's called hydro raking, but it's weed harvesting. Keep the beach areas free of weeds during the summer season, the beach use season. All
So,
right. any-
Rich,
How
yeah,
often did
just-
they, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead, Bob.
how often did they do the hydro raking each lake?
so once a
Does it
year.
depend? That's what- right.
It's normally done, it can't be, the work can't be performed until after June 15th. It is permitted through New York State DEC. We have the permit for Lake Secor. We're in the process of finalizing getting the permit for Long Pond Lake. So that was advertised just recently.
So, Rich, I'm assuming, or asking, the Lake Secor and the Sycamore Park, the area that they're going to be treating are pretty much the same because it's the exact same price for both?
It is, it's about a half an acre, just,
Half
it's
acre?
only the swimming area. So
Okay.
it's not the entire lake, it would be a lot more money. So there's just a little
Yeah.
half an acre area, just in the noted swimming area.
All right, so half acre for both of them?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Anybody else?
All right, Frank, you good?
Yep. Thanks, Rich.
No, no problem.
Thank you. Okay, number 9, James Gilchrist, Director of Recreation and Parks, consider request to approve and authorize Eagle Scout project. This is a tree bench at Sycamore Park. Eagle Scout candidate Matthew DePasso, and it's Troop 371 Mahopac.
Sure.
Welcome again, Matt.
So
Jim?
Matthew presented this project at our last recreation meeting on, I'll take this mask if you can hear me, sorry, on last Thursday evening. So the entire committee was in favor of it. We have an existing bench that's up across from the main building that's utilized by all of our classes. The women sit out there for yoga class and get ready for the class, preschool classes. We have T-ball programs up there, so it's a great asset to the park. And this one would be located down near the playground. There's a maple tree off to the side that Matthew picked out with Nina. So why don't you go through your project, and then you could talk about how the lumber was also donated at the last rec meeting also.
So yes, the project will be a tree bench down there. A little bit about me, I'm a senior, I go to Mahopac High School. I'm currently a Life Scout. I've been involved in scouting since the 1st grade. I've also grew up in the area, so I've been to this camp as a camper for 8 years, over 8 years maybe. The bench is, it's a 7.5 feet wide. There's a road right next to it, but it doesn't impede with the road. It's 1.5 feet off the ground. Most of the wood, or not most of it, but I did get wood donated by someone in the Sycamore board, Mike Mongon. I have to see which wood would be usable for that, so if I could compensate with some of the wood, because wood prices are going up. The whole project would cost around $725. Wood is going up, so I don't know how much it would be now, but with the donated wood, hopefully it would go down. Procedures, most of the bench would be made off-site, and then it would just be installing it there. And then I will coat it in urethane to protect it from the elements. This is all pressure-treated wood.
Yeah, Matthew, it sounds awesome.
Yeah, yeah, great job.
It's a great area,
Yeah.
too. Thank you.
It's going to be a good asset to the park. A lot of people are going to use it, I'm sure. All right, excellent. When do you want to start the project?
I have to go to the Scout Council first, but as soon as that gets through, then I'll try to get this done as soon as possible.
Okay. All right. If you need anything along the way, there's the guy to talk to right there. Jimmy Gilchrist will help you out. All right? And if he can't, he'll find someone who can. So thanks a lot, Matthew.
Thank you. Looks
Thank
like a
you,
great
Matthew.
project. Good luck with it, thanks.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing it over there, Matthew, and we look forward to attending your Eagle Scout Court of Honor as well. We have an Eagle Scout town board member right over there, Councilman Labarge. He attends most of them, so. All right. Good luck with it, Matthew.
Thank
All right,
you.
best of luck, Jim. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to have Dave come up also
Okay.
to give some kudos out to MSA with the airport park.
All right, so number 10, James Gilchrist and Dave Fafaro. Parks and Recreation, consider request to accept proposal for the purchase and installation of polyurethane foam insulation at the airport park building. Dave, welcome.
How we doing? Hello,
Jim?
everyone. Long time no see.
Oh, Dave.
It's been a while. You guys are having meetings.
Been a while.
You have meetings in person. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Uh,
When are you going to have meetings again in
Hopefully,
person?
soon. That's- Yeah, we have some logistic issues because we have some folks who actually can't come to the meetings. So we have to be able to do remote and the meeting at the same time, which adds some complexity to it. We're getting there. We're trying. So we met out at the airport park a few weeks ago with the MSA folks. These guys did a terrific job putting together a first-class building. God bless them. It's very professionally done. We're getting down to the end now. Their funding's getting tight, so they're asking us to pick up the insulation portion. They wanted to spray foam insulation so that the building will be nice and tight. It's a metal building with a stone veneer on it. Beautiful concrete work. The stonework's nice, pavers around the outside. And then they'll finish the inside, but we really can't go further until we get this insulation done, right? We gotta get the insulation up so that we can close the walls and finish up. So, okay?
Just telling us something.
And, yeah, so that's what we're here for tonight. MSA did get some proposals for this work, and we're hoping that the town can help out and do the spraying foam.
Okay. Jimmy, do you have funding in Parks and Rec budget at
So
all?
Mary Ann just did some transfers earlier this evening. What we did is we met with the MSA and tried to figure out what the expenses are from now going forward. As you all know, building costs are very, very expensive right now. The other item, especially with something like this, is the prevailing wage. That's more than doubling these kind of contracts when they get involved with that. So they have a little bit left for the fine tuning and the sheetrock and painting and all that. Most of the supplies are already purchased. It's just these bigger items that they really can't afford. So what we did is years ago, we set up a $50,000 capital line that we have in our budget each year, and we didn't spend any money for about 5 years or so. That kept rolling over and rolling over. So that money we eventually used for the septic system, different projects, the irrigation system that was out in Airport Park. So what we did is I requested a $50,000 transfer. That would be all of the capital money that we have in our budget this year to go into the airport building line. And then we had some funds left over up at Camarda Park from two grants that we had up there, one for the parking lot, the other was for the building and the dugouts. So we had some items that were not reimbursable through the grant. That would have been highway labor and some other items. So we didn't get reimbursed. We had that money left within that project line. So we requested that they both be carried over, put into the airport building line, which gives us a balance. We have about 8,000 in there now, plus around 69,000. So that's more than adequate to cover, because we still have some other heavy expenses that are coming with fencing and some other areas around the parking lot. So I feel very comfortable that this should be able to cover that cost. When you review the, I'm not too familiar with spray foam insulation, but after talking with Fred and Scooter, they've dealt with these companies before on larger projects. They're very familiar with prevailing wage. They've done large projects on big municipal jobs. And the lowest price is from Cortland, New York. And
Open or closed cell, Dave?
And the only thing with this
That's
one is-
closed cell, 28,000?
Yeah, but the ceiling piece has to be fire rated, so they have to put like a
Coat
coating
on it.
over it, right, because it's exposed. The walls are gonna get sheetrock, so they won't see it, I'm sorry. But the ceiling itself, right, will actually be open, so they gotta put a fire coating on it. I think the numbers are pretty good, actually, and that's why I think we have to move
Numbers
relatively
sounds
quickly.
cheap, that's not
Yeah,
what bothers me.
yeah, I think we have good numbers, we just gotta move quick, because it is a very volatile time right now. Things are changing quick.
so,
Yeah, no, when I went up there, the building's beautiful. I mean, the
Yeah.
whole park is coming out great, but, yeah.
I'm gonna say what I have to say, whether it offends anybody or not, but that's my job. When this came in front of us, and they said they were gonna build a building, I says, what is MSA's job? MSA's job is to help the kids, which they do a great job, be involved and play sports, all right? They said they have several $100,000, and they're gonna build this building for us. And I sat here and said to them, that's not your job. That's the job of the town. We bid it out, we bond it over 10, 15, 30 years, and all the taxpayers pay for the building that goes into a park. Right now, the only taxpayers who are paying for that building, and they're not even getting it finished, are the kids' parents that play for MSA baseball or football, whatever, all MSA sports. And I was worried about this, being in the line of business. I've been in for 40 years, that this would happen. And we've already picked up and I'm not saying I'm not going to. I'm going to vote yes to go for it. But I'm going to say what I have to say, too, so the public hears it. We already picked up some plumbing. A lot of the plumbing was donated, okay? A big ticket donation. And now we're talking about the insulation. And you make a comment that we have $50,000 left over from something. Now, I'm going to tell you why that bothers me, Jim, personally. Because yesterday, it cost me 2 guys, half a day, $200 to fix something in the skate park. I'm only saying this now because it pertains to how you're saying we have money, all right? And yes, you need volunteers like Dave and myself and other businessmen that help around in the parks and with the kids. But that $50,000 you had could be used for the benefit of everybody in this town, in one of our parks.
that's what it's there for, yep.
Okay, not in one building that we should have built and bonded it over 30 years. So what's next is my question. You say there's some left for the sheetrock and the paint. We all know, once the installation is in, Dave, there's a lot more left.
Yeah, we went over that with them, with the fellows that are building it.
Are you, I'm asking you, are you going to come back again for something on this building?
Hopefully not. I feel very comfortable. We have almost $80,000 in the line. If I remember correctly, they were around $70,000.
No, I'm not talking about your money. I'm not talking about your line.
Yeah, so can So what I did, Mike, because I have the same issue, right? I know it's, first of all, you don't want to come back multiple times. It's not even good coming this one time, right? It's kind of a leg on our face. But what I did,
This is the second time.
what I did is I sat down at cost to complete with these guys, right? We went through all, because they have a lot of these supplies on the ground already. A lot of it's there, you know? So it's a lot of it's in
You're
the.
doing a great job.
Yeah, a lot of it's in the building.
It's
They're
fantastic.
they're doing a terrific job, and you know,
It's
they've
a
been.
shame it had to come to this, because we could have raised it easier. They would have had more money in the kitty, and everybody would have been happy and looked better.
Again,
It's just-
they've
it's a
been
shame it
raising,
had to come
they've
to
been
this.
raising this money for years. I mean, this project,
I
been, you
know.
know, I joke, you know, that when we did this, you know, way back when, that my grandkids would maybe play on this park, and that's where we're at, you know. Hopefully, my grandkids will actually play in this finished park. That's how long it's been, right? My kids were in MSA now, and it just takes forever. So it's MSA soccer and MSA in general has been saving
My
money
kids
for
went
this
through it
thing.
all, too.
They've been saving money for this capital project for years and years and years. They look forward to it. And let me just finish. So one of the reasons we do this, right, that we kind of get and this is just my take on it, right? Now, again, I don't want to offend anybody there, but I'm just going to say what I say. We get the user involved, right? We get the user engaged in the park because they'll do it better than anybody, right? The town will do a certain level, but the user itself, when they take ownership of the park, right? When they kind of want it to be theirs, right, and do it a certain way, there's a certain ownership to that, right? There's a certain about, you know, you've done it yourself. There's a certain amount of pride in this whole thing. So that's a piece of it, right? And in the past, we've been able to do a lot more volunteerism. You know, we didn't have the insurance issues that we had when we first started this. We don't have the prevailing rate
I
issues we've
understand
had.
all of that on
So
small
all of this kind of
projects.
stuff is snowball. I believe we did a cost to complete. I sat down with Fred and Roger. We went through all the items that were open and left. We believe with that, you know, if the town can pick up this piece of the installation, and there is some other small incidental items, right? You know, some doors and that kind of stuff. We believe we're there, right?
It's
We're at
not
the
my
end.
point, Dave. My point is, they're doing a great job. These guys, they're working.
Yeah,
They're
they're
working
killing themselves. It's unbelievable.
But you said something that bothers me, and it still bothers me, and it's going to continue to bother me if this goes down the road. You have a kid sign up for baseball. It costs $1,200. And there are families that can't do it. And I know that because some soccer families, an affiliate of mine, had to sponsor. Now, MSA should not be in the job of putting money together for capital projects. That's what I'm saying.
Again, it's investment in the park, right? And I tend to agree with you. It would
But-
be nice, it'd be
but
nicer
the
if
money
we
would
did,
come from us.
it would be nicer if they did goals and those kind of things that are more apropos to the sport, but.
You're not
I hear
getting-
you. I do hear you. I absolutely hear you. Again, and, you know, in MSA, and again, I'm not.
Anything that goes into the park should be paid for by the entire taxpayers of this town. Okay? And whatever money MSA raises as a nonprofit organization should go back to the kids.
Yeah, I have a different philosophy on that. So
Well,
I believe, again, I'm just gonna,
that's what makes this a
here's my,
great
yeah, it
country.
makes, that's country, right? So I believe that the town has an obligation to provide recreation for a community, right? I believe we.
But you didn't come and ask us.
Can I finish? So I believe we have an obligation to provide the fields, and we did. We put a ton of money into this park, right? The town in general put, you know, 3 million plus into this park, right? So we have an obligation to give that park, you know, a playable field to those things. When they want to do these improvements that are above and beyond, I mean, there's a building, right? We don't need to have a building there. This is something MSA wants, right?
This
It's something
park
they're
that you're talking about was shovel-ready for several years.
Many years. yeah.
Okay? My second meeting on this board, with a couple of gentlemen out here yelling at me that I won't even bring their name up, because they'll be moving soon out of the town, said, it's shovel, I said, you know what? If it's shovel-ready, the way the rates are now, let's build the park today.
And you get all the credit for that. That's, you know,
His
this whole
head
board does.
snapped.
You did a great job.
Her
getting
head
this done.
snapped, whoever else was on the board's head snapped, and right away, okay, we're gonna build it right now. Jimmy, is that true?
Yeah, it is.
Okay? And that park is being built because it was shovel-ready, because we raised the money to do it. And what I'm saying to you is, for the part of the park that you're doing, not saying it's not a great thing, I'm just saying it's something the town's supposed to do. And MSA's money is supposed to go to the kids.
Again, we can agree to disagree. I believe the town has an obligation to give a playing field to the community. When somebody wants to make that extra special, right, when they want to take it to the next level, I think that's the obligation of those users, because those are the guys that are using it, right? We built the
I've
field
been
for the whole
grading
town.
baseball fields for the last 30 years in
So
this
have I,
town.
Mike.
Not
I get
me,
it.
my great late partner,
But-
because
but-
I don't know how to
and
drive a machine.
And I have been too, you know, I've been in the, but so when you want to
All
take
I'm
it to the next
saying
level,
is,
it's just a difference of
next time
opinion.
we're gonna build a building, okay, bid it out, the town will raise the money, all the taxpayers pay for it, and not MSA. And not taking nothing away from MSA, these guys are great. To donate the time they donate, and I watched the game last night, I tip my hat to them. And Fred and these guys that are building this building, I tip my hat to them too.
It's a first-class job, it's a remarkable job.
I tip my hat to them. They're great, the effort they're putting into it is fantastic. All I'm saying is it would have been a lot easier, and you guys wouldn't be here.
Well, we originally proposed putting a bathroom building with a small storage area and a small concession stand there for more money than what was spent to build this large building with a large meeting space that they're building. So we presented that originally in our budget. And then,
Interest rates now for us, when I say us, I mean the town,
Yeah.
okay, are near zero. Okay? 4 years ago when I took this job, I said to Kenny, he says, we're gonna spend a lot of money. And he goes, what do you mean? I says, interest rates are zero. You have to do it now.
I agree, listen, it's-
So tell us what you want, but tell us now, because in 2 years, interest rates aren't gonna be at zero.
we have a shovel-ready community center for Sycamore Park.
Yeah, you have a shovel-ready community center for a place where it shouldn't be.
I know, but when and we're trying to save money in the Parkland Trust Fund for that, but that's our next big piece, is to get a community center. That's why we're trying not to spend.
If the
we
city
do-
of New
we
York,
try
if the
not to
city of
do
New
it.
York was decent, they'd give us the 7-acre piece that they have that they say they can't give us anymore. Okay, right on Route 6, that's totally flat.
I agree with the shovel-ready project for a community center, but not at Sycamore Park. That's the way I feel. I don't,
We know, we've been down, I don't want to go there, we've been down.
But we have another shovel-ready project at McDonough Park.
But
So
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
vote
move
yes.
soccer
I'm
out.
gonna vote yes next week for this anyway.
Yep.
But I can't vote yes without saying what I finished, what
I
I started to say
understand.
several months ago. I'm finished, I'm sorry.
no, that's fine, Mike, no, that's fine. So Jim, or Dave, in your estimation, Dave, you're in the business, how much is left, cost is left to complete the building? This is 28,000.
There's about $100,000 left to go. MSA has a little bit of money left, around 20, 30 grand. There's probably about 90,000 left to do. We have the other 70, so we believe we have enough to get it done, to get everything finished
That
up.
28,000 for closed cell
That's a good number.
doesn't sound right.
No, it's just a good number. You got to get it while you can.
Maybe open cell, but not closed cell.
No, it's a good number. It's, yeah, we got to get it while we
That's
can.
like that's a cost gift number.
Yeah, so. We got to
Okay,
move
so
on.
of the 100,000 that we estimate that it could take to complete the building, how much are you going to need from the town? MSA
So
is gonna-
about 70 will come from the town and 30,
And 30
round
from-
numbers, right? I think it's like 27 from MSA, and I'm going to say just under 70 from the town.
Okay.
But,
All right.
you know, the rest of the items are small. This is the biggest item, right? This is a big ticket. The rest of the stuff is all $5,000 or less. It's kind of, you know, buying some doors and frames and, you know, hardware, that kind of stuff, so.
Okay.
But we did do a cost to complete. We went through every item that was left, and they have a lot on the ground there. Like the units are there for the HVAC, and there's a lot of
I'm
stuff
glad
there.
you're here, so I hear it and I believe it.
Yeah,
Because
there's a lot.
You know the numbers.
I know the industry. And right now, it's just a crazy time. You just don't know what's going to happen.
believe me.
And things can
don't.
change in 5 minutes.
We all
You just-
know that.
Yeah, it's right now, it's
Crazy.
insane, so.
Yeah.
And Dave and I met with Scooter and Fred at the beginning of this project, and we went over the whole line items, all the way down, and we felt that their budget was sufficient. But as the cost of everything went through the roof, that's when we started running into issues.
All right.
So-
So let's keep going on the project, keep it moving.
Yeah, let's try and get it done.
Let's get it done.
Yeah.
Let's get it done. Whatever you need, Jim, I mean, if that, of that 70, it's for $5,000 item here or a $6,000 or $7,000 item there, you may not have to come back to the board for approval.
No, we have, if you do the transfers that are requested.
You have it?
You have enough to finish
we're
everything?
To finish the project.
All right.
Yeah, we have a
All right.
bunch, there's a lot of little items, right? These small items that need to be done.
Okay, all right. You think you can complete the building, or they can complete it by July, the end of July?
The plan is to have a grand opening on Labor Day weekend.
We're looking for fall.
We don't want to, we can't box these guys in.
All right.
You know,
So,
you're not gonna get any kind of guarantee in the construction world like that.
Yeah, just, we're shooting for the fall, we're shooting for a Labor Day, opening, yeah, it gives the grass.
That's
a
what they
chance
said
to
after
open.
season,
Gives the grass
Yes.
another
Right,
season
we
too.
can kind of cut it all in, looks nice, and just to be, full disclosure, right, there is some things left to do, we have a grant out there,
For the playground.
requirements are for the playground and the
Yep.
pavilion, and there is a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of in-between space that needs to be addressed,
It's
I
a
would.
big park. It's a
Yeah,
part of
I'm
the-
gonna try and reach out to Hartman, see if we can get a little more money to do something
a
similar we did at
beautiful
Sycamore, where we did, all those trees and kind of beautified
Mm-hmm.
the parking lot and that kind of thing, so we may be back for that piece of it, but right now, for the building itself and getting the park open, we should be sufficient.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Good,
Thank
thanks.
you.
All right, thanks, Dave. Thanks, Jim.
Please don't take what I said the wrong way.
No, I don't, listen, I got thick skin, man, you can talk to me all day, I appreciate the conversation, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Dave. Thanks,
Mike
Jim.
Simone, our highway superintendent, is here for 11 and 12. So 12, Mike, welcome. 12 is to consider a request to accept the proposal for waste wood processing services at Secor Yard.
Good evening, Board. I think we go back about a little over a year ago, or a little under a year ago. We had a storm come through here called Aisha. Supposed to be bringing a lot of water. Did not, but it did bring a lot of wind. I think I had 110 roads that had trees down on it. So we have an absorbent amount of wood debris at the yard there. The good news is that we are being reimbursed by FEMA on a lot of stuff, and this is one of them that as long as we meet their guidelines, which this bidding does do, we will be reimbursed for it after we complete it. I sent out 4 proposals. I only got back 2. I'm saying to go with the lower one, as you can see in front of you. But I have to come before you to do this because we're going to spend our money, but we're going to get it back, so.
All right.
Hey, Mike, what do they mean accept waste wood processing service? What are you gonna?
They're
just so the
taking the
public
trees, they're
understands.
either going to chip it down,
You're chipping it.
well, they're either going to chip it down and haul it away. They're taking all this stuff away.
I was gonna say, so whoever's chipping it is getting rid of it.
Right.
Okay.
That was one of the things, and I have to have an end place, and FEMA has to know about it, and that's all got to be in this contract, and that's what we have. And that makes it reimbursable, so,
Okay. Thanks.
yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Any questions for Mike on this item?
No, thanks,
Right?
Mike.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Mike, go on to the next one. It's consider request to award bids for highway spring materials and supplies.
Yes, we had a bid opening back in April, and I went through it, and it's pretty much standard operation for the highway department. We do this every year. But the bids came back in, and these are the suggested vendors that I'm suggesting that we give the bids to for, whether it be item 4, blacktop, gravels, catch basins, pipes, all that stuff, so.
This is every spring.
Yeah, it's quite extensive.
Mike comes to us.
Anything surprise you, Mike?
Well, the surprises aren't here yet. The reason saying, even though the blacktop bid is very similar to last year, I'm going to say it's either up or down 50 cents, I can't remember. But you got to realize that blacktop escalates with fuel oil.
Petroleum.
With petroleum. So as it goes up, guys, that number, even though that's bid, the state will, the bid for the movement in the fuel oil will change that number, because it changes the trucking number, whatever they come back at, so. And that is all done and tracked by the state, and it's done on a monthly basis, so. All I know is that the sooner I can get out paving, the cheaper it's gonna be, so I just have a
Absolutely.
feeling that once we go out further, it's gonna get a
And the
little
way
more
the prices
expensive.
of gas and fuel are going up, I think you're right.
But otherwise, most all the other materials are pretty much in line. I will tell you that there is becoming a shortage in polyurethane pipe, polyethylene pipe, I mean. They are probably working out 4 weeks in advance right now. I'm doing projects. I've already ordered almost 3,000 feet of pipe, and I'm probably going to order within the next week or two another 3,000 to 4,000 just to get it in the yard so that we have it to continue the projects. First thing I do is the drainage, and then we go back and pave, but that's what we're looking at, so.
Good, thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thanks, Mike. Any questions, comments from Mike on this item?
Thanks, Mike.
Nope.
You're welcome.
The spring material? Okay. All right,
Thank you, Mike.
good, thank you,
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, the 13th and final item, consider request to waive 30-day notice for a liquor license application for My Cousin's Gastropub, LLC DBA My Cousin's, 954 Route 6, Mahopac. Greg and I reviewed the license application, and it's complete and in order. And this is, just for the benefit of the board, this is, and the public, this is the old Ramiro's restaurant.
Ramiro's, yep.
954 Route 6, so I'm glad to see that someone's going in there, and seems like it's going to be a very nice establishment with good food and good beverages also. So we look forward to this. So this is something that we do quite often. It's the 30-day waivers of the liquor license, so I have no issues with this one. Everything is complete on it, so. Any questions from the board
No.
on this? Okay. All right. Greg, you'll have a reso for these? Okay. All right, so that completes the agenda items for this evening's town board work session. I'm going to open up the floor to any comments from the public on the agenda items that we covered this evening. If you have any comment or questions, come on up to the podium at this time. Just state your name when you come up. Yes, ma'am?
Hello, good evening. So my name is April Daly. I'm a resident of Mayapack. So I have several questions here. So first off, with the IT upgrade, the desktop installation documentation, who retains that documentation?
Yeah, it's.
Sure.
Mary Ann, is that something that's retained in your office, the controller's office?
There's installation documentation. The inventory? For the new computers being installed.
Yes, we maintain it.
For how long? For how long?
For how long? 6 years.
All right. So, looking through the breakdown of the expenses, so for example, I noticed that there's a certificate for the Microsoft Exchange server. And this also leads me to the fact that part of this budget is also including the renewal of the managed services from Logically/Sullivan. Okay. So I noticed as part of those managed services, well, actually, my first question is, what is the scope of those managed services? So is that in-house servers? Is it desktops? Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, Mary Ann, if you could come over to the center table here.
Okay, yeah, so what is the scope of those managed services?
Of Logically?
Yes.
Of the company? They're the company, the IT, I guess, contractor that we.
I understand that.
Yeah.
They're providing managed services.
Yeah.
What is the scope of those? So for example, we know it's 24/7, intrusion protection is included.
Yeah, there's a support staff that we can call
Right.
at any time.
But generally the scope, what type of services are they providing?
It's support, I mean, it's support services.
Like password reset? Okay.
Yeah, password reset.
And then are they doing server patches?
Server patches.
Yes,
I'm not,
yes.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I'm not,
Does this include cloud assets as well?
it does not include cloud.
Does not include cloud, okay. So I did notice, for example, in terms of their services, that there is a line item for spam protection, so that's good. And again, there is a certificate for Microsoft Server, Exchange Server. Are you maintaining a Microsoft Exchange server in-house?
You know what, these questions, I'm going to have to get back. to you
Email
on,
server
yeah.
all right, well,
Yeah.
we can go
I'm
move
not
past.
an IT
The question I
That's why we
have
have
is.
an IT contractor.
I
If there are a
understand.
little bit more technical
Yeah,
questions, Mary
I
Ann's
handle the
not
money
prepared.
part of it.
I understand.
I just,
We'll get to that. All
But you
right,
can definitely, write these questions down, we can
I
go
will.
over them for sure.
all right.
Yeah.
So I noticed that two-factor authentication was included in the services. Why not?
I'm sorry, what?
Two-factor
Two-factor.
authentication
I have
services.
no idea
Why
what
isn't that?
is.
Okay.
We can get
Okay.
back to you on that.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't know. That's fine.
I
Okay.
really don't.
It is a best
like I said.
practices for information technology and, for securing our assets. So I certainly would recommend two-factor authentication. The other thing in terms of the services they offer is ransomware protection or insurance. The town is not including that. Have you considered that? And what is the risk by not having it, or is there any benefit to having that ransomware protection?
Again, maybe if you want to just email me these
How do you-
questions and we can.
So I have to be
go
honest,
over them.
so how do you pick the vendors? Is someone else picking it?
Well,
No,
this is,
No, we meet with the vendors.
yeah.
And we meet with them, and they go over the proposal and the contract. So the questions you're asking are very technical questions that Mary Ann's
Yeah.
not going to have the answer to, nor these board members
Well,
aren't going to have.
well,
the answer.
ransomware is about
They're
risk.
good
I'm not
questions.
asking you to describe how you're going to protect against ransomware, for example, but that's about risk. And so I'm wondering if the board has considered that risk at all.
It might be.
That may be in the
it might be
contract, correct,
included in the
Mary Ann?
contract.
Could
According
she-
to the line items, no, those are separate packages, I think, from that vendor, right? So the spam is one item out of their secure package. They have several others. It's okay if you don't know, but so all of these are around securing our town assets, and so it certainly does raise some questions. You do know, or maybe actually you don't know, Microsoft servers had on-premise servers, which is what I believe Carmel has, had a breach. All Microsoft on-premise servers experienced a breach earlier this year. Does the town know if we were impacted or not?
Okay, it's obvious that you're very computer literate.
Well, but
Let me finish, please.
okay.
I could barely use my cell phone. Okay? I
Do
go to my
you
children to
access your
use my cell
email
phone.
using your cell phone?
So all I'm saying is.
Do you access town
you're
email
putting
using your
Mary
cell
Ann
phone?
You're putting Mary Ann in an awkward spot. by
Well, you're
asking-
making,
by trying to-
well, I
Just
understand,
let me
I
finish.
understand she's not technical.
Just let
and
me
I-
finish. You're putting her in an awkward spot, asking her technical questions. She's our comptroller, which she's very good at. Now, she doesn't make any decision by herself. So all we're asking, if you have technical questions, tell us the technical questions,
Well-
and next Wednesday, we'll answer the technical questions.
Exactly.
But attempting to make Mary Ann look like she doesn't know what she's doing.
No, Mary
or
Ann's doing a
anybody
great
else,
job. No,
Because
excuse
you
me.
know more than anybody.
I'm sorry,
here
reclaiming
in
my
terms of-
time.
You're
This is
not
my
letting me
3
finish.
minutes.
You're not letting me finish.
Let Councilman Borelli finish.
Okay,
and then-
all we're saying is, if you have technical questions, ask them,
It's in the contract.
okay?
yeah.
Email them to the supervisor, and next week, I will read them off to you if you like.
Yeah, we can.
I think that
that's why
next
we
week
have it-
someone
That's
from
that's all, that's all.
Sullivan Data should be here to
Yeah.
answer the questions. And I-
Yeah,
and I-
And that's
any-
what we have an IT, listen, what we will do, if you email me and the supervisor the questions, we have an IT consultant.
And-
We don't
I
have.
understand
And if
that.
they're
we
very
don't-
difficult
a
to
lot of
answer,
towns-
we will have the consultant here answering it for you.
Absolutely.
These are really more business questions than they are technical questions, to be honest with you. This is about securing our assets, and it's about risk. So if the board doesn't know that, that's fine, but I think
We'll
I
find
want to
the
make that
answers.
clear. All right, so let's move on, please. So let's talk about number 4, Carmel Sewer District. Number 2, the microfiltration UV lamp system. So 10 out of 72 components failed. That's about, what, 42%? It seems like a fairly high number. So,
All right, Rich?
Rich?
well,
Richie,
yeah.
the engineer's here.
I'm sorry, I wasn't. That's okay, no. All right. So it does seem like a high number of failures, and I think it does raise the question about monitoring, but actually, Mary, don't go away. It does raise the question, so for example, looking and searching through the town, right, this is a single source provider, right, which is, I forget the name of the company. Trojan, right, they're a single source provider for this equipment. And we also noticed that 2 years ago, lamps were replaced. So I noticed in the current bid or quote, there's an item on there that says LOB aftermarket.
She can't be.
Yeah. Is Daley?
Yes,
Yeah, you have to face us.
LOB aftermarket.
Okay.
So this was on the Trojan quote. What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't have it in front of me that I can go get my computer.
So
I
here's
just
the concern, right?
I want to
So-
remind you, I apologize, but I want to remind you, it's 3 minutes
Well,
for public,
right.
for comment.
Okay, all right, so my concern here is, for example, number one, as you said, these are 10 to 12 years old. It seems like these modules and drivers are really on the verge of being obsolete. Should we be buying more? Right, and these are now aftermarket products. Okay, and it sounds like this system is aging out. Also, I certainly call into question the monitoring. 14%, roughly 14% of them going bad all at once is a bit unusual. Makes me wonder if there's an adverse event or not. Okay, let's move on to number 5, the sand filter backwash pumps. All right, so according to the note from the vendor, there's 2 pumps, but one has not been operational for many years, and now the one finally broke. So this pumping station, or this filtration station, Carmel District, Sewer District 4, had 2 pumps, one pump broken for many years apparently, and then this pump finally broke. And this is now classified as an emergency. So it seems like a self-inflicted emergency. Is this the best way to handle this, to wait for equipment to age out?
Absolutely not.
But that's what happened here.
Well,
You had
exactly.
one.
You're exactly what happened. You're correct. And the town has undertaken an asset management program to move forward so that we are planning for these things. We're learning about them.
Okay.
I've only been in this seat for 8 years. Some of these things we're learning about. I don't know that that pump was out until these guys wrote that to me. I read them the Riot Act when that happened.
Okay.
Just so you know, and just so the board knows. What goes on with that is our operators need to stay on top of it. Our asset management plan is identifying all the assets we have at those facilities, and we're going to be planning for capital expenditures moving forward, working with the controller. The board has accepted the asset management plan, and that's what we're doing.
Okay.
So I agree. It's not right. And
So-
I agree with you on that assessment.
Okay. Is the filtration system lifetime, is it coming to soon to be obsolete, or do we think it's going to last another 10, 15 years?
For Sewer District 4 or Sewer District 2?
The microfiltration system.
Every
with the bulbs.
facility, as you well know, or if anybody knows, any facility has a useful life expectancy, and things are
Right.
going to go wrong. The UV systems, and they are about 12 to 15 years old, right? They were put in 97 with the regulatory upgrades, paid for by the DEP. What years were that, Greg? 97, 98? Right. So, we're looking
Which
at...
updates change
Okay.
every couple of years.
Right, so now we're maintaining, and we understand, so the modules that went, but we repaired bulbs, not modules, and the modules are gone. So going
Right.
back to the first one with 2. I don't know what LOB means aftermarket, but that's probably, that's from
Yeah, I have no
Trojan,
idea.
that's not from the town of Carmel. So that's something we can look into, but it's what Trojan is providing us to make sure
Right.
that their equipment is matching the equipment that we have in our facility, that we're not outside of our Speedy's permit.
No, I
So
understand.
that's the important part of it.
Okay, yeah, no, thank you. And I think, because when I did a Google search for these parts, you can't find them anywhere. So, yeah, it makes sense that they're sole source, but then again, from my experience working with lots of different equipment in my life, it seems like these things are on the verge of being obsolete. We're going to be maybe hard pressed to get these parts 5 years from now.
Right,
And
well-
whether, so.
Mrs.
it's
Daly?
All right, thank you.
With all due respect, thank you. Good questions. I admire your interest, but we went way past 3 minutes. Thank you. Thanks so much. All right. Okay, is there anyone else that would like to come up on agenda items only at this time? No. Okay, is there anybody here for new business, the open forum portion of the meeting? Come on up to the podium. Just state we know who you are.
I'm
Just
Erin
state
Crowley from Carmel. It's not necessarily new business, it's from the agenda item from last week. Am I allowed to speak on that?
Yes.
And I will make it quick.
Sure.
So it's agenda item number 8. If you'd like, I can read it to you quickly. It was the resolution accepting proposal and authorizing entry into agreement for engineering consulting, design services, Carmel Sewer District 1. So the procurement policy, and this is from timestamp 3315 into the meeting. Kenny, you were speaking, excuse me, Supervisor Schmidt, you were speaking. And as per what you said, I transcribed it, the procurement policy to waive RFPs, requests for proposals. They have the ability to do that. They can waive their own policies if they feel that it is justified and warranted. In this particular case, I, Kenny Schmidt, as one of the board members, feel it is absolutely justified and warranted in this particular case that we waive our procurement policies, so that is your answer, and you were speaking to James. I have a couple questions in regards to that. So we have a procurement policy. If we or I, number one, who is we or I? Are you speaking for the whole board? Because there was a vote taken on it, and it was
Sure.
3-2.
Sure.
So
I was speaking for the "we" is the board members that voted yes in favor of it. So-
But previously, when you used the word "we," that was when you were deciding to put the procurement policy aside. So what procedurally takes place in order to make the decision not to take the procurement policy into effect? What goes on? Is there executive session where you all vote and then make that decision? Or is it just something that appears and you made that decision?
We meaning the town board?
Well,
We don't-
you use both, so that's what I
Right.
want to understand.
We don't vote, we don't take votes in executive session at all.
But would you I guess what I'm asking is, did you discuss the fact of waiving the procurement policy? And what is the procedure on waiving the
We
procurement
did
policy?
with special counsel Joe Charbonneau.
Okay.
It was discussed with council.
Okay,
And council does, I do have, if you'd like me to read it, I do have a statement from council Charbonneau.
perfect,
That he said, he had said to me tonight, if any questions came up with respect to this item, that to read his response. So if you'd like me to, I will.
Excuse me, Supervisor Schmidt, was that sent to us also as a
Yes.
copy?
Yes.
Because I didn't see
It was
that.
sent to everyone.
It was sent by council Charbonneau.
Today?
No.
last week.
Last week.
This is all.
this is on agenda item number 8 from last week.
Right.
You voted no, I'm sorry, yourself and Councilman Barilli voted no.
I just thought
And
there was something I missed, I'm sorry.
yes, no. So I was confused between the "we" and the "I" and the "us." It was thrown around a little bit. So it was discussed in executive session. I would love to hear,
Okay, this is from council Charbonneau.
perfect.
Okay. A common law exception to the statutory requirement for competitive bidding exists for contracts involving professional or unique services, which fall outside the realm of competitive bidding. In order to constitute professional services, the services to be performed under the agreement must involve specialized skills, expertise, and the exercise of judgment and discretion. In order to determine whether a contract primarily involves professional services, the total character of the agreement must be examined to ascertain its essential character or focus. The development and implementation of marketing strategies are by nature professional services, since they call for, in addition to specialized skills and expertise, such intangibles as judgments and discretion. A contract for promotional and management skills may also be exempt from competitive bidding under the exception relating to the services which require in their proper performance scientific knowledge or professional skill. Various contracts are exempt from competitive bidding under this exception, including contracts for the provisions of medically related services, construction management services for the purpose of, among other things, coordinating a public works project, providing consultant services throughout the various stages of the project, and guaranteeing a maximum cost of the project for a fixed fee. Auditing and accounting services, services in connection with the preparation of a title abstract, stenographer services for the county attorney's office for examinations before trials and for hearings in connection with lawsuits involving the county, towing services, recycling services. I hope this is of some assistance to you, as this issue will come up from time to time.
I appreciate that. And with that being said, again, quoting the last meeting, you quoted that it was not a bid. And in that letter, it's a bid, not an RFP. Those are two, yes, they can be confused, but those are two particular.
Let me let the attorney.
But this happens much too often when we're talking about this. Professional services of any sort are not bid. Bids are public works contracts and the purchase of goods. Those are the only things that are required to be bid under the general municipal law. You can get professional services for any scope of service, whether it be accounting, whether it be attorneys, whether it be engineers, whether it be other design professionals, whether it be architects, sorry. Okay, and you are not required to bid. So the phraseology has to be changed. If there's an RFP and it's called for in your policy and you decide to waive it, that's entirely up to you. But the interchangeable use of bid and RFP is not correct.
Exactly.
Okay, so
And that's where I'm confused, because I hear a lot of I, we, and they, and bid and RFP, and although some people think it is interchangeable, they're completely different, as Judge Fulchetti explained. So that was my confusion. I appreciate your answer. And moving forward, I just would hope that we could clarify a little bit more. So thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for open forum, new business? Come on up.
Thank you all for your time and patience tonight. My name is James Carmody. I live in the hamlet of Carmel. As I'm sure you all know, the town's expected to get $3,700,000 in infrastructure aid from the federal government under the American Rescue Plan and the upcoming American Jobs Plan. And I would like to propose that this money be used not necessarily for existing infrastructure projects, but with the input of our community on what our citizens and residents desire for a infrastructure budget, such as we heard earlier today, MAS's capital project could have been funded by the town, and that might have been a more appropriate way to do it. And with the money we're getting from the federal government, who knows how many projects like MAS's could be funded by the town with community input. Is there something upsetting about this?
There's a lot of strings attached to that money, James, a lot. We're still waiting for final guidance from the federal government. Mary Ann and I have been working on this, and it's very specific what the funding can be used for. So we're hoping that we can use it for infrastructure projects, because that would be very helpful, especially up where you live in Ward 2, where it's undergoing major improvements and upgrades to that system. So even though you're right with what you're saying about the funding being used for town projects, I wish we could use a lot of that money for those projects or that funding for that. But unfortunately, it's very specific, and as I said, there's strings attached. So we have to wait for the final guidance, which hasn't been released yet. Once it's released, we'll know better what we can use the funding for. But I like the way you're thinking.
Thank you. And I hope if there is freedom that a citizens budget committee could be enacted for input from the public as to any free monies that are available.
Yeah, once we know where the monies can be used, we're certainly going to do that. We're going to make sure that the public is well aware of where the funding can be used. So our grant writer, Dave Jenkins from Millennium Strategies, he's also involved in it as well, Bob.
Correct.
And we've been
Very
speaking
involved.
with him, and he's very familiar with the American Rescue and Recovery funding that the town was allocated, $3.7 million. I hope we can use it all. You know, so
Yes.
it's money from the federal government, so we should be able to use it all, but it's only be used for specific projects and specific items.
Well, I hope.
We'll keep you informed. Once we have all the details and the guidance is released to us and we know what we can use it on, we'll definitely let the public know.
Thank you. That sounds fantastic.
Okay? But I like the way you're thinking, James.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Need the guidance.
We need the guidance. Yeah, once we get the final guidance, we'll know. But thank you. Is there anybody else here for open forum, new business? No? If not, we can go on to town board announcements. Mike, do you have anything for that? Frank?
Just have one. This week is being Police Week. Mario's Woodfire Pizza, along with Mary Ann Chaluzian, will be hosting for police officers and their families an event, Pizza Day, from 12 to 3 this coming Sunday, May 16th. They don't have to respond to the invitation. It's open to men and women in blue. 225 Route 6. May you pack any questions, contact Mary Ann Chaluzian or Mario's Pizza, and that's this coming Sunday. All right?
Okay. Thank you, Frank. Let's go down this side. Bob?
All right, just one question. I wanted to try and figure out when can we reschedule the town board meeting up in the hamlet? I know it was canceled because I guess the audio wasn't working up there.
Yeah.
When can we look to
I believe
reschedule that?
I believe Ann has reached out to Mike Hengel, That's the liaison from the fire department and us, and we're going to find out when we can reschedule that.
Okay, I think it'd
Yeah.
be important, being that everything's starting to take
Yeah.
off now with the Carmel Water District too.
We
People
definitely wanna
have a lot
have
of, questions. I'm sure we have a lot of people there.
I'll follow up again tomorrow
All
and
right.
find out.
Excellent. Thanks.
Thank you.
That's it.
All right, thank you. Susie? All right, I just want to thank the members of the Mahopac High School Interact Club. I was out with them on Saturday. They cleaned up 2 miles of the bike path from Baldwin Place all the way up to the Italian American Club. They filled 6 bags of garbage. So there was 8 students that participated in that, so I want to thank the Interact Club from Mahopac High School for participating in the town-wide cleanup. Great job. The only condition was that we stayed on the bike path because their coordinators at the high school didn't want them on the streets, which made a lot of sense. So we did the bike path, which it turned out really well. And Aaron, I want to thank you. I know you cleaned up a lot over you and your family. It seemed you would just bag after bag after bag after bag. And you even said, where is this all?
Every week we're out there and it's the same area we're doing, and it's just, how are we able to get that many bags again?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. But
We'll stay on it.
yeah, but thank you for that.
Of course, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Okay. All right. So that's it for tonight. Next meeting will be next Wednesday, which is tonight's what? Is it 12th? The 19th? The 19th. What? Today's the 12th. Yeah. So next week is the 19th. It's a town board voting meeting.
And work session also, or no?
And yeah, well, we're very work session items are light. So what I think we're going to do is
I gave you one.
next week we're going to combine meetings, but I also want to talk a little bit about the downtown Mahopac projects. Just for the benefit of the public, where we're at with that. We're going to be having 2 public sessions. We're scheduling those now, where the public is going to be involved in a workshop to receive their feedback and their input on what they envision for Swan Cove, for the downtown projects. We're going to have 3 panels from Insight Engineering is going to be there as well, and we're going to go over what the vision is for those parks. So as soon as we have the dates, we'll notify the public what the dates are of those workshops. But I would encourage everyone to attend those and give your feedback and your insight on what you believe should be at the parks in town, the Swan Cove Park and the downtown Mahopac. So that's going to be happening probably within the next 3 weeks or so. We're going to have 2 meetings, and we'll announce where they're going to be held, probably here, and the dates and times of those. All right? And Susie, if you could give an update on the comprehensive plan. Not tonight. You don't have to give it tonight.
I'm going to do it next week, yeah.
Do
yeah.
it next week.
The consultants are, I'll meet with the consultants again, but they're still compiling all of the information from all of the different venues where the public gave their input. And I believe they should have that ready for next week, I believe it was. So I'll touch base with them again.
All right, and maybe, this is just a suggestion, maybe have Bonnie and Adrian from MVP, maybe they can attend the work session to give us an update on where we're at with it.
Once they get the information together,
Right.
they can
that's a
come
good
in,
idea.
because that's part of their contract as well.
Just as an update.
Yep.
Okay, all right, very good. Okay, so that's it. I need a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn by Councilman Borelli, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. All those in favor? Aye. Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Be
everyone.
well. We'll see you next Wednesday,
safe.
the 19th, for a town board voting meeting / work session. Good night, be well.